Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya. Namaste Tejase Aviravir Bhava Vajranaka Vajradamstra Karma Sayarantaya Tamo Grasa Grasa Om Swaha Abhaya Abhayatmani Burishta Om Shrom.
So let's continue with the sins. And now we are going to talk about the sins or offenses from the family generational line. So we have collective karma, family karma, personal karma. More or less just summarizing it. And the sins of the family connect the people also. So, and this brings consequences for everyone. So, with the family, there is a line of soul ties that are formed and used by demons to pass from one person to another, from parents to children. Demons can obtain legal rights through the family generational line. If your parents have demons, the demons will be able to pass to you using the soul link as a path and will be within their rights. So the sins of your fathers, father, mother, or even your grandfathers, even if they skip one of them, for example, your grandfather did something or your grandmother, but your father or mother was strong and resisted a lot and didn't get and followed a different course. Still, this can get you, because it goes like 2-3 generations behind. So if you see that you have demons, you will need to see if there's something dysfunctional in your family. So, if there are any of those serious sins that we talked about previously, that I've been talking and we will continue talking, all these topics, heavy drug abuse, alcoholism, suicide, severe depression, mental problems, any kind of heavy involvement with the occult entities, or those sins and offenses that I'm mentioning to the spiritual path, promiscuity or any type of sexual activity which is inside of what I talked. So you have to track if there's something dysfunctional there. So to determine that, is there a problem here? Because there will be symptoms most of the times. Sometimes it's difficult to tell. It is. Sometimes only in your meditation, your spiritual work, you will be able to access it. So physical, severe emotional abuse, curses, with which these demons feed on and cling on to. Also see how your siblings are doing. If any of those born before or after, if there's anything dysfunctional with them. Also check your children. If there is something dysfunctional, if you notice some kind of access to them, then you can determine better. So look at your brothers and sisters. See if there's something wrong with them. Those who came before or after. Because sometimes it's more visible in some than in others because of their level of strength and many other things. And this is very, very important. You have to look at all the signs. First, your parents, observe them carefully. See if there's any of these dysfunctional behaviors. History in these sins. Then see your brothers. If you have brothers that have come before, see how they are doing. It might not be something very visible, but there are some certain traits that come into, according to the types of demons that are working, that will become more prominent. Some darkness will come somewhere. Either it is through their parenting or through their life with their spouses. Something will be there distorted, intense, or psychological issues, already what is clearly someone who receives entities and things like that. Everything is possible, but sometimes it's more difficult to see. Then also look at your own children or your brothers that came after you, because sometimes they could have catch this after you were born and you could have resisted it. But those who were born after this happened, they are more prone for this connection. So it's good to look in all directions. Then you look at your own children. Did they started to exhibit distortions in behavior, strong, intense ones, from birth or only at a certain age? So this is very important. And also your parenting, because sometimes your parenting, your spousing, I don't know if this word exists in English, but the way you behave with your spouse, because sometimes this doesn't come out to everybody. It seems that everything is shanti, peaceful. The person is very nice, and she is in a line of demons. And many times this just comes out in specific situations, either with spouses or with their own children. They become very hard, they are very intense. In specific contexts, only then will you know. Not saying that those who are like this, that they have demons. It is signs that when you understand that you need to look in all directions possible to find out where it is coming, so that you can do what is appropriate in that specific situation. So not everyone is affected, some are stronger, you need to analyze carefully. But strength is not everything, because if there is something important involved for the demons, they can intensify their attacks. And even the strongest tend to fall down. Only if they are exceptionally strong, then that is different. But for the majority of people, this is not a reality, this level of strength. And it's usually about the interest they have in you. The more interest they have in you, the more assets they will make available to work you properly. Also, depending on the demons, there may be active corruption of the child from a young age. However, demons will follow a child into adulthood, corrupting them all the while, step by step, creating situations to corrupt, abuse children. So, depending on the situation, on the interest they have, they may start with you very early, depending on the kind of demons also. This is very common, they will break the child through their parents, through someone close. They will create intense traumas, very intense traumas, to the point that it fragments the personality and pushes that personality which is paining into the subconscious mind. And superficially, it seems the person is normal, and it had, from her memories, then she will build new memories to survive, and she will create nice memories about all of this, about the childhood. She will not remember certain periods of time, but if you ask, oh, did you have a bad childhood? Kind of a childhood with demons involved. No, that was nice. My parents were normal and nothing happened, because they can't remember. Memories are there. more or less because they are childish memories, memories from someone who couldn't process informations. But the memory of the pain, it is there. And then this can come as mental difficulties, some distortioning behaviors in a lot of ways. It has to come out some way. And this is especially important for advanced souls. So advanced souls, many times, when they are about to incarnate here, and demons don't want advanced souls here, unless they are serving them, of course, they can recognize by the gradient of light in the astral plane, even prior to incarnation, they can see where it is going. And they start immediately the attacks there, sometimes before birth, and then they follow the child through adult life. So they are abused in the astral by entities, and in the physical through family or close people, or they are monitored. Often the child forgets and creates alternative reality, which they start to believe they had a good child, all of this to survive. So these demons make many of these souls unable to shine their light as adults. This is their goal, the main. Then if they can put it on their ranks, good. So if it is, for example, demons of a family line that is about lustful behaviors, you will see a person that cannot maintain a stability in a relationship, goes from relationship to relationship, and has an intense sexual life. Usually many children from different parents or mothers or whatever, and goes about this way. So, these demons make many of these souls unable to shine their light as adults, corrupting their values, destroying their homes, their family structure, or their experience as a human being through emotional or physical violence, including sometimes sexual violence also. And not all abused children are advanced souls, and not all advanced souls are victims of abuse. But in these times, the odds of this are very high. So even if this is either you get born into a family line of demons, for example, or if you're an advanced soul, they follow and they destroy your home, your parents, they make their lives a hell because of that. Or they enter because of that. So sometimes you think, oh, it was because of my parents that I caught the demons. Well, in a way it was, because if they didn't have these sins, if demons didn't have rights over them, they could not enter. So either they created those rights with the help of the implants, attacks, and things like that, or when you arrived, they used the existing rights to come inside and create hell. No one ever knows. Unless it needs to know. If it needs to know, it will be known during these first 40 days of the spiritual rebirth. So if your parents and grandparents have demons attached to them, the demons will try to create a chain of generational curse in the family line, corrupting the children to indulge in the same behaviors because of the type of demon and what he feeds on. So all different types of demons feed on different types of behaviors, of sins, and they will direct you according to their own characteristics. But these days, as all these things are so available, all kinds of sins that I talked about, They are so normal, so current, that people start with one kind of demon and then get many more in the way. And this destruction is so that you are not able to shine your life, that your personality gets broken, that you have no conditions filled with sins and offenses, no condition to come close to God, to shine your light in the world. So this is one of the purposes. So, because of the bond soul and the astral connection, because it's the soul bond and the astral connection, the energetic connection from the Manipura. So they use these connections to move around. And this is when the generational curse line is being formed from the father or the mother to the child. When it is formed, then it moves through all generations. And generation after generation after generation. So this is also true for your children if you have demons. They will try to move to your children, to the spouse or ex-spouse if the good or bad connection still exists, to your parents, to all your soul ties. They move everyone through your connections, energetic connections, soul connections. They will start to corrupt some, attract violent situations to people around you or to yourself, depending on their agenda, because you never know. And the type of demon which is involved also. And they attract violent situations because traumas also open doors for them. So it's a way of getting inside. They will send people who have demons to you to increase the connection, whether by intimate contact or just by proximity, by violence, or by suggesting ways for the demonic connection to increase. For example, if you are on the spiritual path, they direct you to places, situations where this demonic influence is highest. And they tend to let you stay. If you go to a place that threatens them, then they will bombard you, make your life miserable until you go away. So, but infinite types of things can happen because it's like human relations. People do a lot of different things for many different reasons. So demons are like this, more or less. They are very predictable in a sense that their central line of behavior is that one: destruction, misery, to death, especially of sacredness, and then of the rest in some form. So, so normally, if there are demons, a bad soul bond is formed. So if your father or mother has demons, there's a bad soul bond that is formed. There must be some type of abuse there. The actions they take will lead the host to abusive behavior, and abusive behavior is not so clearly visible. Physical violence and verbal violence can be seen easily, but manipulation, anything that breaks the child's will and strength, sometimes is not easy. Sometimes it's invisible for those around, and depending on the age of the child that this happens, the child probably won't remember. The child will probably have a different reality constructed for survival purposes. Sometimes the child will be very close to that parent, but with a strong and unhealthy type of dependence, even in adulthood. There will be a strong dependence or open anger, or both. Many things can happen. So, if it was at birth, For example, the mother or the father has demons, so the child takes birth. It is already in the line of the generation. It's already being worked by them. And depending on the type of demon also, how violent it is, what it is involved, because for example, if it is alcohol, then there will be fightings, destruction and things like this. But there are other types of abuse that are almost invisible from parents to children. Usually, socially, they are usually very nice. You cannot point anything. But there is something in that relationship, in their intimacy, which is very hard. Very hard. So, and sometimes it goes in very dark places also. So dark places that the child goes through so much suffering that has to create an alternative reality. There's a fragmentation in personality, and a personality, the one that suffers, is shoved into the subconscious mind, and the other may be a normal personality, even a nice, smooth one. But in specific cases, this will come out. There will be distortion somewhere. Either mental issues or distortions connected to promiscuity or hardness to your children also, or spouses. Something will be there. You have to look for the signs. So if you have demons, you are putting your loved ones at risk. The depth of the damage will also depend on the people's willpower, their level of purity and impurity. Children are more vulnerable, yet some will be stronger than others and will better resist the temptations and violent situations brought by the demons. The weakest will be prey for demons to plant suggestions, thoughts, impulses, to make them follow the same direction, behavior pattern of their parents, either one or both. If the child doesn't adequately resist these demons for a certain period of time, then a line of curse will begin to form with that child and a sinful parent. And then this goes generation after generation. Once this line is formed, demons can attack the child from within or without. They also may attack the child indirectly without controlling them, usually to ensure that the parents do their bidding. Sometimes they hold the parents hostage, usually those who are aware of spirituality and things like that, to make them behave. So if you start meditation practices intense or with a serious intention, they will start attacking your children so that you stay put. But if they have access to them, they will be working them on many levels. You are not protecting them that way. The only protection you can give them is to cut that line. So, and once this line of curse has been formed, then the demons will now have every right to remain attached to that child until it is properly broken before God. The longer the bloodline remains unbroken, the more corruption will be brought to that child. And if it's not broken completely, before the child leaves home, the demons will remain attached and follow them into their married life, into their lives, and will continue. And this is very common. And all of this because of the first one who transgressed God's laws. If this line, of course, is not properly broken before the child, already read this. So it is important that parents have their sins solved before God, so that this doesn't compromise their children and the future of their children's children. The more time passes and the host becomes more and more like the parasite until total corruption. You will see that, for example, people that have demons for a long time will start having demonic features, even then in their expressions. Sometimes it's just not They are not just favored by nature. Well, it can be one or the other. So parents and children have a natural spiritual connection, like a thread that connects them for the better and for the worst. If the parent has demons and has not freed himself anew from them, there is possible abuse in some way. You have to find out. And this has created a soul tie that may not appear to be so, especially since there may be attachment to the parent. Probably there will be attachment to the parent. The difference is, will there be aversion or not? Depending on the type of abuses, how much you remember, it may be now a very good relationship. Someone that you will be very dependent because you haven't created your own strength. So it may not be so easy to spot. You will have to meditate a lot so that this can be revealed. Sometimes. Other times, some of you will just listen to this and will know spot on who is who, what is what. But in reality, it's a common operation carried out by demons across generational lines, breaking the child with abuse so that the child builds a new reality where he remains dependent, linked to the abuser, meaning that he is plugged into the demonic influence. And sometimes even there are those who get out, distance themselves from their parents, don't know why, but they cannot live close. But eventually something takes them back. Either there's a problem with the parents that you have to take care, or whatever. It's like when you're there, you feel like you're being drained, you cannot live your life. But you cannot stay away also, because of the connection through the demons. No one who is in the clutches of demons remains the same. Corruption increases, and the existence of the one who has demons is offensive to God, just the existence, because they are revealing your sins. So this is the lowest you can go, is by having demons. And this is very common these days. So let the father and mother seek help if they find it necessary or important, because it's complicated to speak about this to anyone. If you're going to speak about this with your parents, probably they will try to put you in a mental institution facility. They will say that you are crazy, whatever, and you will only bring more confusion. And a lot of confusion. It is a complicated matter, but you can take this as a rule. The one who is linking you to the demons, you will have to cut the soul connection. I will explain better in a video specific for cutting the soul connections, but this will have to be done. If there is any of these ungodly soul ties, and that bond being offensive to God, if you're not willing to break that bond by action, affirmation, prayer to God, you will not be able to go through the spiritual rebirth, and neither break that connection from demons. They will still control you and have access to your children if there are any. Everything continues the same. It's worth emphasizing that sometimes human beings have difficult conceiving how something like this can stay with them for generations. But like I've explained previously, the lifespan of a human being is very short compared to these beings. We are the chickens, like I've explained. The one who has chickens sees lots of generations of the chickens, and he is there alive and well, and sees many, countless ones. In this story, human beings are the chickens. So this family line, it's complicated, because it has a lot of different ties and sometimes it's very difficult to see. So you will have to think clearly, observe from all different angles, and ask for help for God to reveal what you need to see. And if you're doing your part and not able to see, it will be shown to you. But you need to understand that sometimes you don't want to see, and this is the problem. Because if you don't want to see, it cannot be shown to you. So superficially you may want to see, but deep down you don't, because you don't want to cut the connection with one of the parents or both. So it is a complicated matter. So you need to go with all. Doesn't matter what happens. Okay.
Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya. Namaste Tejase Aviravirbhava Vajranaka Vajradamshtra Karma Sayarantaya Tamo Grasa Om Swaha Abhaya Atmani Burishta Om Shro